to success.
I see recording and time counting.
You're actually talking on the podcast right now.
Oh my God.
Woo! So no more talking about federal offenses, breaking federal law.
Yeah, don't talk about that.
Yeah.
Wormhole Manifest. Woo! This is we're all drunk. This is a great episode. It's a great start. Okay. This is a new podcast that is still trying to find its footing. The topics have varied so far, but I'm trying to keep it geared towards mental health awareness because it's important to talk about these things these days as more and more people suffer from different forms of mental health issues. Some episodes will be light and fun, and others will be more serious and heavy and aimed towards education. Tonight is going to be a little different. We have two very special people joining me on this radical voyage. So bear with me as I try to drive this badass machine through the ravenous ravines of space and time.
Ravenous ravines.
It could be a bumpy ride, so I encourage all passengers to keep their arms and legs inside the wormhole until we've come to a safe and full stop. Do not take your seatbelt off for any reason unless you want to be dematerialized and your particles sprinkled into the cosmos. But if you need to use the restroom, just ring your attendant and they'll come and place you in a headlock until you pass out and forget about your desires to use bodily functions until the ride is over.
Well, then you'll just
So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our two guests. Rachel, at Get Off My Planet, is my partner in crime on a daily basis and helps keep the lights on through the wormhole while managing to keep her own sanity somehow. She's been here a while, and I'm so eternally grateful. She makes me want to be a better person.
Oh, do I?
And Frankie has been on the front lines of mental health awareness and has her hands in a big number of projects to include making content for YouTube. She's also an awesome chef and posts images of fancy feasts that would rival Gordon Ramsay. Frankie and Rachel, your names have been added to the manifest.
The Manfest?
So, Manfest.
The Manfest.
The sausage party.
But I'm married.
So if y'all are ready, let's get this ship off the ground. Okay, guys, welcome. Right. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I've been super excited about this. And just to say, dematerialization, there's worse things, I think, than being dematerialized and scattered throughout the galaxy.
There could be worse things, yes.
There could be worse things.
Well, I'd like to open this up basically to the both of you guys because I like to talk way too much on these podcasts far. And I usually don't even really know what I'm talking about. So, so go ahead and get us rolling.
How about we introduce ourselves?
Get talking, ladies.
We can introduce ourselves.
Go for it,
okay,
Rachel.
Hi, my name is Rachel, and I'm an alcoholic. Oh, wait, wrong meeting. It's so funny. I'm Get Off My Planet, and I used to have a podcast with this guy, and we've been married for, our anniversary's coming up, 5, how many years? It's November 10th. I know that.
Put on the spot. Let me open my calendar.
So we've been married about a while, and apparently I make him want to be a better person. So that's cool. And this is Frankie.
Yeah, Frankie, and some people, actually all people, will know me as at Just Call Me Frank on Twitter. And then my YouTube channel with Frankie. And I've got a lot of fingers and a lot of pots all over the internet. I've got an Etsy shop. I've got websites.
She makes the best
I've got an Instagram account. I make the best masks, apparently.
Oh, yeah, they're awesome.
The sales have dived. I did send out one today. So people they're still, I sold out on my last 2 men's sizes with the ladies on them.
Wow.
Pinup ladies.
I love that one.
So all my, I think all of them are sold now finally. So, but I still have loads of men's sizes. There's a plug. Go and check it out. There's a whole bunch of men's size ones out there
I
still.
think the Wormhole could use a couple more.
Yeah, I'll probably be putting them on discount pretty heavily. Because I don't know, like I still wear the masks when I go into any place that's got more than 2 people in it, but I'm one of the very few. And I think as people start getting their 3rd jabs, like there's going to be a lot less. But I did hear Delta is mutated again, so fun times, guys.
I don't want a booster. I don't. I
mean,
I never once got a flu shot.
Me either.
And
I've never had a flu shot in my life.
I managed to survive the flu, but this is COVID, yes. So I got...
Yeah, I've heard a lot of stories from a lot of people how this is like the worst thing they've ever experienced in their life, and they had no idea. And I'm like, yeah, I don't have time. I'm self-employed. I'm a contract worker. Like nobody's giving me paid days off but me, and I'm not giving myself paid days off to be sick. Right. So I better get that shot.
Yeah. So, but a third one, I thought, yeah, I got the vaccine. Yeah, I dealt with my fear of needles, and I'm fine. And well,
Are you planning on getting your 3rd?
I'll probably be guilted into it. Yeah, I would.
I just keep thinking like the mask worked for so long for me. I travel, over multiple states and into tons of businesses and interact with people, loads of unvaccinated Republicans and people who don't even believe it's real. And so and I was fine just wearing my mask. Yeah, you mean the Midwest for sure. For sure. So I don't know. I also don't want to like the 3rd shot to be the one that's going to give me flu-like symptoms the next day and down me for a weekend because I'm a busy person. I don't have time, unless it's because I was drinking all night, to lay on the sofa all day because I'm sick.
Right. You don't have time to be actually sick.
I don't have time to be actually sick for no reason.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. How about you, Matt?
I'm good.
You going for your 3rd one?
I'll take as many as they'll give me. If they're free. It's like saying like, here's, like back in the day, it's like, hey, you want to come to my party? And I'm like, I don't know. You got beer and drinks and stuff. And they're like, yeah, okay, I'll be there. It's like,
do I have to bring my own alcohol? No. Yeah, I'll be there.
Yes. I think I got some going on.
Parties.
Whoa.
Who's been to a party?
I don't know. I haven't.
It's been fucking years.
Yeah, years. I can't even remember the last actual party I've been to.
I remember it. It was Thanksgiving 2018 or 2019 in Los Angeles.
We did go to a friendsgiving. I think. The Thanksgiving before COVID. So I think that was the last like party, air quotes. And
I think to be a party, it has to have drugs and alcohol, and somebody passed out in one room or another. I think that has to that's a qualification. It can't just be kids
napping while their parents eat and drink wine.
Okay, if kids are kids, always if the kids are there, it's not a party.
Okay.
It's not a party. I'm going to.
In a previous life, my ex and I used to go on Fridays and drink with all his friends, and all his friends had kids, and we had little babies, and so babies would go sleep in that room, and we'd all get drunk on Jaeger bombs.
Okay, so that's I love you, but that's a white trash party.
Absolutely.
Anytime people are getting fucking trashed and children are sleeping in the other room, I feel like that's definitely white. That's a white trash party.
Very much. And we had white girls with 40s in brown paper bags. So yes.
That's
very much.
Yep.
That's the only way to drink a 40 though. That's how I grew up, was like I had a 40 in my hand with a paper bag. And we used to go sit on the corner downtown.
You're not proving her wrong, though.
No, I mean, I used to do that back in the day when I would walk around downtown. That's where I was tweeting from back in the day. You can actually bleep. Like, nobody needs to know that that's where my Twitter originated from, because that puts the geographic range of where I am too close to home. Anyway, when I used to walk around in downtown, in a big city downtown back in my early tweeting days, I would have a giant can of, in Canada, they sell like energy drink, vodka energy drinks.
Mm.
So you could just put a paper bag and you could just walk around, and it was a kind of a sleazy downtown, and I would just walk around downtown drinking and tweeting. It was the days, man. It was the days back before I was just with my 3 cats hanging out doing nothing.
Back when we were younger and funner.
Back when Twitter was Twitter.
And you could say whatever the fuck.
And it didn't get taken over by a bunch of fucking Facebookers and politics.
I mean,
I swear, back in those days, do you ever remember seeing a political tweet ever?
No.
Not
it was all porn jokes,
porn, violence,
farts,
anger,
and poop, and
yeah, it was just
it was very cerebral back in those days.
Yeah. And it wasn't so serious, and like you wouldn't have to think, okay, I got to get off this now because
it's making me mad.
My mood is down because of all this politics. It's making me angry. It's making me anxious. It's making me fear for the safety of people in my country.
Fear for my whole country.
God. Yeah. Now you have to be like really skillful using Twitter to avoid pitfalls, and you got to stay out of those replies, man.
Yeah.
I know back in the day there wasn't a such thing as a reply guy, and it's like,
no. Back in the days of Favstar, and the whole goal was just to be as funny as you could, and that was the most important. Now it's all like
so obsessed with that.
I mean, and I'm guilty of it too, like obsessed. Of the political tweets. But yeah, no, it was just all about making people laugh. It wasn't about making people alarmed about the situation in the world and in the country. It was so much better. So much better for mental health, too.
A lot easier on mental health, for sure.
Yeah. That was my escape for my mental health issues, and to tweet out my, losing my mind and, everything I was experiencing. Now it's just like, now you can't do the same thing because somebody will take offense, and then that will just fucking destroy your mood for the rest of the day.
Or they'll take you serious, and Twitter will be like, do you need help? Are you going to hurt yourself?
Yeah. Is this a self-harm tweet?
I'm making a joke. God.
Yeah, because that's the only way you can deal with the thoughts in your head is to make jokes. Mm-hmm. I was watching something the other night, and I verbally said out loud something super terrible, and I was like, I think I was watching Walking Dead, because I just started getting into The Walking Dead for the first time. Late to the party, I know.
I was also late.
It's
okay.
I was surprised at how great their end of episode cliffhangers are. I was like, this fucking show knows what they're doing, because now I'm so glad I waited, because now I can watch until I'm like, okay, I can wait till tomorrow to see what's going on. But if there's a bunch, I'm like, I gotta see what's happening next. But there was something that happened, and I thought, what I thought, if I said it out loud in the wrong company, or if I tweeted it, or if I was in that situation, like where there are dead bodies. Okay, so remember, and this is going to be spoiler for anybody who hasn't seen it, but like that one kid died in the shower and fucking annihilated Cell Block G in season 4.
Oh my God.
And I was like, wow, there's less people to feed. And I thought, you know what? If I was in that situation in real life, I would probably want to say that because that's how I would feel. It's terrifying and it's horrible. But I'm always looking to make a joke out of a terrible situation, because that's how, as you know, that's how you deal with the chaos of
existence,
things that are fearful and existence. But a lot of people don't think so. And I think if I said that and I was in that situation, I would get like ostracized. You know what I mean? Like people would be like, "That's not cool.
How could you say that?
You know,
think of their parents." can't
Well,
believe
their parents are zombies. Fuck them. Is what I would say.
I'm offended on behalf of all zombies.
Right. Exactly. But I'm surprised that the show is so good.
It was pretty good, even with all the gore, and I'm not into gore at all.
I'm totally like just into it. Like, I want to see all of this. Like the fucking, they do it so well. Like the graphics in there. I'm surprised. I hear that it starts dropping off after like season 6 or 7. Like it lulls and it drags on, but it is exhausting because it's like, Jesus Christ, can these people have one day where they're not multiple times trying to fucking fight their life for these zombies? Like, there's got to be a better way.
I was bored when I first watched it. Like, there wasn't like enough zombie killing when I first tried to watch it. Like, I was like, what is this? Because I'm so used to like the Return of the Living Dead and the original Night of the Living Dead stuff, and like a lot of original like horror movies and things where it's like Day of the Dead and Dawn of the Dead were like really good because it just showed you all this gore, you know, and it was just like, you know, and I got so used to like wanting to see like the people with the guns like blazing them down, you know. Even Resident Evil movies, I was like, you know, there was a lot of action, so I was like, this is cool, you know. The story's really cheesy, but like, you know, the action's there. And then I think what they were trying to do with Walking Dead, it seemed to me, was like they wanted to get into the story of the survivors. Like they wanted to get
that's
into
the most interesting part is like, for me, because I love post-apocalyptic, and the things I love about post-apocalyptic is trying to figure out people, like the creator's idea of how people are going to learn to work together and survive in these situations.
Yeah.
And so I find it fascinating. This was one of the reasons I love Fallout 76. It's because it's a post-apocalyptic, like rebuilding a world or rebuilding a society after a complete collapse of some kind.
Yeah.
So I find that really interesting. But when I watch it lately, I've been thinking, I kind of want to. I always want to get back into writing, because since I stopped writing on my main blog and then moved to YouTube, I haven't been writing as much. But there's been a couple episodes where they let the zombies just, like, if they're not going to be able to move, they just let the zombies lay there and they don't bother, like, putting a knife in their head. And I'm like, there is something to think about here as far as, like, the morality of letting that, whatever a zombie is at that point,
a murderous creature,
live in the hell that is there. It's not their fault that they became a zombie, right? It's not their fault that they're a murderous creature. To let it just sit there, you don't know what's going on in its head any more than you know what's going on in a cat's head. But to let it sit there and like starve in whatever way it's going to starve, and like it seems more merciful to stab it in the head than to let it lay there forever.
Yeah, mercy killing.
Put it out of its misery.
Right? So when I'm watching it, I'm like, just don't bother. Like, there's the one girl, she stepped in a bear trap and she's just walking around. She's clearly not a threat. But why would you do that? It's not a living being, but it's some sort of animated being that probably has some sort of mental processes, right? Anyway, so when I'm watching it, I'm looking at all the
all the little finer nuances of like the morality and the, you know, the scope of how
do you decide who is going to kill, and like, should that little boy shot that guy at that moment or give them a chance? And I'm like, so I'm always like analyzing it, which I'm not fun to watch anything with, because I will, if you're watching it with me, I will verbalize out loud all the thoughts that I'm having in my head. And not shut
we
my
would
mouth.
Probably talk to each other about the show and not even watch the show.
That would be great. That would be perfect. Because most people, if you're somebody who wants to watch it and gets easily distracted by talking, you're not going to want to sit and watch stuff with me. Because I have a hard time keeping my mouth shut when I'm outraged by something, or I want to think deeper about the thing I just saw, or I have questions about, like, what do you think is going to happen after this? Why do you think he did that?
Oh, he's totally thinking
ridiculous.
this. Like, There's no way.
Yeah. And then like trying to come up with the character's motivation, like this is probably why he did it, blah blah blah.
I am really good at guessing what people are gonna say and do in shows. I'm really good.
Me too. It's almost fucking irritating.
Right? Like I knew it.
Almost everything I watch now, I'm like, I know exactly what's gonna happen, and I'm just like, well, let's see how they're gonna
play it out.
Like prompt this to happen. Let's see how this plays out, because I know what's gonna happen, but it's not always gonna be exactly the same path to what happens. But yeah, everything is fucking predictable. It's very rare. One exception being, if you haven't seen it yet, the brand new cherry flavor. It's a fucked up weird miniseries on Netflix. Brand new cherry flavor.
Like fucked up.
If you're into like the macabre and the dark and the fucking weird,
yep,
it's excellent. That one was always like, what is going on? You just don't know. Like nothing is predictable. You have to watch it. I swear it'll be great for Halloween.
Brand new cherry flavor.
Yeah, it's a mini series. I think they picked it up for a second season, but it's definitely very good. Very good. If you haven't seen the Fear Street films, also very good.
Did we watch one of those?
They're based on the R.L. Stine books.
I like R.L. Stine.
There's 3 of them, and they're based...
We watched the first one.
Yeah, that's right. And then we watched so many different things.
It all comes together. It's very interesting.
Like the first one is like the most like
recent,
the most modern, and then like the second one goes back in time like a bit, and then the last one is way back. Yeah.
The second one is 1994, which is great for our age because it's like, you know,
I was 13.
Flashbacks and the music and like the pop culture and like that kind of stuff. That was really interesting. That was one of my more favorite ones of this year too.
Well, we just watched. Rachel watched the Lost Boys for the first time ever.
Oh.
First time ever.
And we watched that with the kids on our movie night, and
also their first time.
and I was like, I've seen it like a million times. Like it's just a classic movie that I've watched. When I was a kid, I used to watch it every year as it would show like either in October or closer to Halloween or just whenever it was showing. And I would watch it on TV. Of course, they cut out parts and stuff, but but it's so
80s
cheesy. Like,
oh my God.
And it's like so 80s. Like it is the
like
epitome of 80s style.
Oh my God. I'm watching it and I'm like,
but like I still,
the hair.
Yeah, she was like cringing the whole time, and I'm just like, yeah, like this is awesome. Like, the Frog Brothers, yeah.
And which Corey is that? Why does he talk like this?
Feldman.
Why does he talk like this? What is that?
We're gonna have to kill these vampires.
What is that?
You know, like.
I mean, is it trying to make him look?
It's been forever since I've seen that, so it's like very little memory. I should probably watch it for Halloween now that like.
Yeah,
there's just so much fucking content out there these days.
Too much.
Yeah.
So like it's hard.
I've been trying to reintroduce or introduce like all of the movies that I watched that I liked as a kid growing up in the 80s to my kids now, so that they can at least have a little bit of like this experience of, oh, this is what my dad had to deal with when he was growing up. So like, you know, but like we watched like Poltergeist last week, and
those movies.
The kids loved it. They were like, whoa. I think they liked it a lot more than Lost Boys because Lost Boys is so cheesy. It's kind of like a comedy, like.
It's definitely a teenage boys in the 80s film.
Well, yeah,
right?
I think it's been considered like the Goonies of horror movies because it was like it had the Coreys in it and the, you know, like they're just on a big romp to try to figure out what's going on through the whole thing. And
no real. I mean, the plot
it's just
is very clunky and obvious, and it's kind of a terrible movie. I mean. Don't come for me, please. It's kind of a freaking awful movie.
I think you just made a bunch of enemies.
I did. And earlier when I said I don't like Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, I was just going to say that I mean, I adore Jeff Goldblum. I would never, ever, though, unfollow you on Twitter because of that. But
yeah, we've watched The Fly and we've watched Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And that had, I told my kids, every time we watch a movie and I spot an actor that's been in a previous movie that we've watched, or if there's a relation with a different actor, like we watched The Lost Boys and it has Kiefer Sutherland in it. And I'm like, you guys remember when we watched Invasion of the Body Snatchers? I'm like, that was actually his dad. That was Donald Sutherland. That was Invasion.
Donald Sutherland classic.
Yeah. So, and then, but the one with Donald Sutherland or Invasion of the Body Snatchers also had Jeff Goldblum in it. And then later on, we watched The Fly. That had, it wasn't the original 1960s version of The Fly. It was the later 80s version, which had Jeff Goldblum.
You got to introduce him to 90s films like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Now that is that's how cheesiness should be, right? I think Rachel froze.
Uh-oh.
She looks frozen.
It's still recording.
Hi. Okay.
I think her camera's frozen.
Oh, there you are. You're back.
That's the second time.
Right? Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Isn't Donald Sutherland in that? Isn't he the guy that, isn't he the guy that plays, like, the one who's training Buffy?
Oh, I don't know. I've only seen
I watched
the show. I was into the series.
I've never seen the show.
The movie, I remember some people talking about it back when it came out, and I was like, I don't know what this is about. It had the one guy from 90210, I think.
Oh, yeah, Luke Perry, Donald Sutherland is in it. He's great in it. And Hilary Swank and Sarah Michelle Gellar is in the original.
She's in the TV show. I think there was a different Buffy in the movie.
Paul Rubens.
Oh.
Gotta love something that Paul Rubens is in, unless it's fucking Pee-wee.
I was not a fan
of
Pee-wee Herman either. And I didn't like Jim Carrey when he first came out.
No.
Jim Carrey was
I don't
awful.
like physical humor as much. You know what I mean?
Like slapstick type stuff? Yeah.
The kind of humor where or the kind of movie where everything is going wrong all the time, like a Ben Stiller, where it's just like all of this could have been avoided if you just fucking shut up or you just don't do that one thing and then just communicate.
Stop being a dumbass and there
stupid
would be no
physical
movie.
humor or just everything. Yeah. And we'll all be better for it. Yeah. This weekend I'm gonna watch Hocus Pocus. Have you had your kids watch Hocus Pocus yet?
We could watch that.
No, and I don't really know that film very well.
Classic! It's a classic Halloween film. It's like the
isn't it like a
Die Hard
Disney
of Christmas films, but this is legit like a Halloween film. It's got Sarah Jessica Parker, but a young Sarah Jessica Parker. It's got a talking cat in it. It's got witches, and it's fucking amazing.
Rachel froze up again.
Yeah. I bought it because it's only available either on cable television or Disney Plus streaming, and I don't do Disney Plus streaming. So I decided to buy it for $10 because it's a movie you watch every year. Yeah. You could probably find it on your Plex thing, wherever you get the films for your.
Yeah, I may even have it because I have so much stuff on there that I don't even really know what I have. It's like a 70 terabyte server that I've just been filling with stuff for so many years that
You sound like my mother.
My
mother does this.
I'm a data hoarder. I'm a pack rat of data.
Yeah.
But I'll have to check it out. I know that
it's
there's a few that I haven't seen that I know are older ones that are classics. But it's very rare that I come across a classic that I haven't seen, just because of the time that when I was growing up, I was a TV baby. Everything that was on TV, any movies that came out, we didn't have cable, but if it showed on regular TV back in the 80s or early 90s, then I was watching it.
I was very restricted with TV. I wasn't allowed to watch almost anything. And then my parents got divorced and my mom moved to Minneapolis. And then I would get to like, she would go to work and she'd just like go to the video store and I would watch like everything I could and then copy on VHS and take home. And then once I graduated and I was on my own, like my entire weekends off, I would just like go to Hollywood Video and just get stacks and stacks. They'd have those like rent 7 videos for 3 days for like some ridiculously small amount of money. And I would just lay on my mattress with my cat and just watch movie after movie, trying to catch up to everything I never got to see from the ages of like until I was, 18. So,
wow.
Yeah. So, and then I just love movies. And I used to track everything I watched on a spreadsheet because I'm a dork like that. And yeah, but I think your kids would really love Hocus Pocus. It's so fun. It's a fun Halloween kids film.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I know there was like another one, like I think The Witches. I think they made a remake of it recently, and I don't remember the original one. It was called The Witches, and I think it's like a
Roald Dahl.
I think isn't it like the Roald Dahl? But I didn't watch it.
The Witches.
Because I don't remember a bit of it.
The Witches is where there's a big meeting of all the witches at this hotel.
Oh yeah.
And she turns the boy into a mouse.
Stars Anne Hathaway.
That's the new one, yeah.
I believe. Yeah. I never saw the original. What? I saw that one. That one was pretty good. I never saw the original.
Well, the movies.
But I saw the Anne Hathaway one.
Have you read the book?
No.
Shocked.
You've read like all the Roald Dahl books, haven't you, Rachel? You keep freezing up. And it keeps your download is going, or your upload is freezing too. I think it's time for a break anyway, because we're at the 30-minute mark, or 32. Okay. So we'll take a break, everyone. Stay tuned. I'm going to stop saying that we're taking a break because I never know if it's going to be a break or if I'm going to split it into 2 episodes. Since we're only at 30 minutes, I'm pretty sure we'll come back. So everyone just hang in there, and we will be right back. Hey, everybody, we're back. And we were just on a break, and we were talking about some cool stuff about partying and whatnot. Remembering the good old times when we could just go to parties and not have to worry about like things like rampant viruses and.
Well, I mean, depends on what parties.
I mean, yeah.
To be fair, I am planning on, depending on how the COVID goes, I am hoping to plan a tweet up for next spring.
I was always afraid of those.
I've been to a couple.
Well, you're like popular on Twitter.
If I was ever popular, I used to be.
Okay.
And no, because I think the first tweet up I ever went to, I was definitely being made fun of, as is the case. Like, I have bad memories, but also great memories. I have to say they are super fun. There's nothing to be nervous about. And if you go with me and you don't like what's going on, unless I'm the host or whatever, I have been known to fuck off during tweet ups. Like I go to Toronto to go to tweet up, and I just pick like a couple people, and we just go do our own thing and leave everybody else.
That sounds fun.
You say, hi, I'm here. I made my appearance. Now I'm going to walk down the alleys of Toronto and look at alley graffiti and go to this random art party that I stumbled across and eat burgers at 3 a.m. at this place we found and just go.
That sounds amazing. How's Canada doing with COVID?
So are you are you?
Yeah. Well, I think we can go into Canada again soon. But what were you saying, Matt?
Well, as far as Canada goes, like I actually have some friends more recently that I met that live in there. The only place in Canada I've been is the place that's right north of Niagara Falls, by Buffalo, New York, and Niagara Falls are real close, and then you can go across the river there and go into Canada. It's I don't know what it's called right there, but like I'm trying to think of what the closest city is to Niagara Falls up on the east coast.
It's going to be Toronto, probably.
I think it is. The friends that I've made recently live in Vancouver, which is the West Coast, which is like just north of Washington State or the Pacific Northwest. And it's crazy because like Canada, I don't know like anything about it, like except for what I've learned recently. And I've also learned recently that the majority of the shows that I watched in the 90s were all filmed in like Vancouver. Like the X-Files and Stargate and all that.
Northern Exposure.
They're all filmed in Canada. And it's like crazy. I'm like, I want to go to Canada. Like now that I have friends there, I'm like, I definitely want to go. And, you know, like, but what places, like, you're not from Canada, right? Like you.
No. I lived in Canada for 7 years.
But
I've been to Vancouver. I've been to a lot of the provinces. So I've been to Winnipeg. I've been to Toronto. I've been to Prince Edward Island.
Oh, wow.
The only place I haven't been yet is Quebec, which I would love to go to because of the food. Apparently they have the best food, but they also have French people who are snobby. So I don't know. Like, do I want to go? Because I just want to go to have a good time and eat good food. I don't want to be judged for being American.
My French teacher in grade school was from Canada, and like she used to talk about the whole French Canadian thing, and like that's why she lived here now and was teaching us French. And I don't remember a lick of it because I was a kid and was dumb and just tried to do my homework and like say what I was supposed to say and then forget it. You know, it was like in one ear and out the other. But like I had French for like 7 years in grade school.
7.
And to not know any of it when I feel like so like, oh man.
From what I understand, that is very American. To have taken years of a foreign language and not be able to speak that foreign language. I took 2 years of French.
I took 3.
I don't know. I could say what my French names were in both of those years of classes because they make you take a French name.
Yeah.
But I went into, I've been to Mexico twice on missions trips, and I can tell you more. I know more Spanish just from going to Mexico on for a couple weeks at a time than taking 2 years of French.
Well, I took 3 years of French and cheated all the way through it, so that was my excuse for not learning. And I know a lot of Spanish mainly because of conversations. Like I took half a year,
and you lived in Southern California.
Exactly.
So
I lived
like
in Southern.
Almost a second language to everyone that lives there.
If they don't speak Spanish, they speak Spanglish, so it's like a mixture, and you can pretty much figure out everything they're saying. Except unless they talk really fast. Like people here in Missouri, if they have a Mexican or Spanish accent and they talk, I do a very white thing and say a couple words in Spanish, and then they just like blah, 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 in Spanish, and I'm like,
and they're like,
no, that was the extent.
They think, oh, someone white, and they understand me. Let me just roll it off and say whatever.
Yeah. And it's they get excited that someone here in Missouri can speak Spanish.
Are you there? You froze up.
So am I frozen?
I can hear her talking in the other room.
Of a bitch.
You need to hardwire her.
Yeah, I need to run a line. Maybe it's still. It's not picking it up.
Hey, there you are!
I said
we could hear you talking.
I get excited.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what is that sound coming? Because I can hear the sound of her from the other room in your mic. I was like, what is that?
I was saying.
Yeah.
They get excited that someone in Missouri actually knows some Spanish, so they try to talk to me. And when I worked at the old liquor store, there was one guy who kept trying to teach me like numbers and dollars and when I would make change in Spanish. And I'm like, I am very bad at this. But it was fun, and I got to try.
Numbers are the easiest thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
and it
10.
repeats.
Now ask me the numbers in French. Zero idea what the French numbers are, and that should be at least one of the things that I retained. But
4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 8.
Nueve?
No,
no,
nueve.
wait.
That's Spanish.
No, that's Spanish. That's Spanish.
Yeah.
My only memory of French class is I took it with my best friend, and I was passing notes to her, and we were both sitting in the front of the class. And the teacher would come, and she would slam her hand on the desk, and she would scream at me in my French name. And I would just stare at her and pass the note to my friend, and then I would sit in the hall. Then she'd send me to the hall. Because I just didn't fucking care about French. I don't even know why I took it. I should have taken something else, obviously. I should have taken German. I've tried to teach myself German with Duolingo a bunch of times. Because that's a language fucking mouthful.
Yeah.
If you've ever tried to learn it.
Isn't a lot of German like
I've learned
English?
A few things here and there.
No. Oh my God, no. And everything is all the words are so long. I spent 2 weeks and a half in Germany driving around, and like the road signs are like a mile long just for the fucking word.
Same
thing
in Switzerland. Switzerland's like that because everything's in German. So you're like, I'm like, what the hell does that sign say? It's like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, like you can sit there and say the alphabet, and like that's one word, you know.
By the time you can read the fucking sign, you're way past that turn anyway. So you better hope. And I was there before there was GPS. Like there was no it was 11 years ago, so there was no reliable Google stuff. It was all a fucking map.
MapQuest.
Yeah.
No, MapQuest didn't even work.
Oh, no.
Like at that time, I wasn't really into using the internet and stuff like that much until about 11 or 12 years ago. Like the internet, I didn't spend a lot of time on it or anything like that. So I wouldn't have even known how to use MapQuest really. And so it was just literally a map of Germany or map of the city and trying to read a map and find my way around. It was
I don't even know how I got around in those other countries. Like
now that I think about it, I couldn't do it.
I didn't have a map. I didn't have I might have talked to a concierge at a hotel and tried to get directions to where I was going to go, and tried to figure out and then I basically wandered aimlessly. When I was in Italy, I wandered with a few people to go to, I don't know how we figured out how to get from Naples, Italy, Napoli, to Rome. And that was the first day that we were there. We got off the airplane, didn't sleep at all that night. We got drunk, and then we got up the next morning, but we were already up. And then we wanted to go to Rome, and it was a group of 5 people. I don't know how we figured out how to get there because we had to take taxis to get to downtown. From downtown Naples, we took a train that went a couple hours or an hour and a half north up to Rome, and then you get to Rome, and then you got to wander around. Back in the day, traveling was insane. How did we figure out stuff? We just got there by just the seat of our pants, figured it out. We didn't either that or we had little brochures that had maps, and then we had to kind of figure it out as you go. But we did it somehow. But nowadays, you just pull out your phone and say, where are we going? You punch in the address and it shows you a route. But
that's not how I go about it. When I went to Germany, I spent a lot of time planning for the trip. And because I'm a big fucking nerd, I had a booklet. So I had an itinerary, I had all the information, all confirmation, numbers, if I could find a map of some sort. In my small experience with going online, there was screenshots of a map. There was just everything I would need was in a pamphlet because that's how I travel. I'm a big fucking dork. But I would stay at places I wouldn't even have anybody to ask. One of the places I booked, I was the guy I was dating at the time. I took him with me, and it was a biker hotel, most terrible beds ever, but you just like check in with a code. There's nobody manning it. It's just like this random hotel, like off of whatever road it was. It definitely wasn't the Autobahn, but it was somewhere in Germany. And you just like check in with a code and you get your room, but there's nobody around to talk to, nobody to ask questions to, kind of. Because when I travel back then, like I was just about past the comfortable age for going to hostels. So I would try to do like a hybrid of it where it was like a cheaper hotel that didn't have a lot of amenities or anything like that. But yeah, so there was never anybody, and nobody, even if they spoke English in Germany, it was very clear they didn't want to speak it to me. even then, like, I don't think Americans have ever been super welcome in foreign countries ever. I'm sure less now than ever before, but even 11, 12, 13 years ago, you just never got the feeling that anybody wanted you around their shop. as soon as they found out. Luckily, I was traveling with a Canadian, so that was kind of helpful if you wanted to throw out like a fake Canadian card. I know a lot of people that travel these days and they purposely put like a Canadian flag on their backpack or something to try to
or like have like a Canadian jacket or something, and they're
just
like
something to make people think that they're Canadian, so they don't automatically go to like ignorant American.
Yeah. No, they knew when I was in Italy, and this is already like 20 years ago, but like they, like, as soon as I spoke English to someone there, like it was the immediate, like they were just disgruntled right away. And they were like, we're not going to give this guy the time of day. And they would like turn around and walk off, like before you could even get done asking the question you were going to ask. And I think the last place I traveled to was Japan, and that was probably like 15 years ago. And it was different. They had like a different kind of, it wasn't as outward that they like hated you like, because you were American. They would just look at you confused because they didn't speak English. And I actually got help from a lady who didn't speak English because I was freaking out and having like an anxiety attack because I was running out of money and I couldn't figure out how to get like an ATM to work or like how to get money from like anywhere. And I was like in the middle of Tokyo, and like I was telling this lady that, she worked at a bank. I think she was actually a security guard that worked for a bank. And she like basically gave me directions and drew it on a pad and said, go down here. Like she didn't know English, but she was just like pointing and talking. And I'm like, I'm like, I need money. I don't know where to go. She's like, so she gave me directions to a post office, and the post office apparently in Japan, you can go and actually use an American or US like ATM or debit card and withdraw, like you can exchange yen or USD to yen. And that's how I figured it out. But like, I was freaking out. I was like, but they were very helpful and very nice. And I was like, even if we couldn't speak, I remember one time I even got drunk and was wandering down an alley when I was in Okinawa. And this old guy was trying to carry like a street, like barricade type thing, like a thing that had like, like sawhorses on the end with a long piece of wood in the middle. And he like fell over and he was like, I don't know what he was doing, but like I basically said, hey, are you okay? And he was just couldn't speak English, but like he told me to grab the other end of this barricade, and I grabbed it, and we walked all the way up the alley and then into it, like his backyard, and like we dropped it off, and then he was like, okay, here you go. I'm like,
wow. Like
I'm like, what did I just do? Did I help him steal something? That's what I started.
Right? Jesus.
But yeah. It's crazy traveling abroad. Like I would like to do more, but like Rachel said, I got to get my passport back. We got to get our passports and stuff like that.
I am dying to travel, but I have created 3 incredibly needy, codependent cats. And which is one of the reasons it was easy for me to give up my apartment in Los Angeles because they, like, when I'm not around, they, for a couple days, they'll stop eating and they get depressed and stuff. And and because I'm so close to them, I can tell when they're getting sick or when something's wrong with them. And that's what happened when Hobbs passed away, one of my last cats. He got sick, and I probably would have been able to detect it right away if I was here, but I was in LA, and so I got back from LA after being gone for 2 weeks, and the minute I saw him, like, I was terrified, and he died within like 24 hours of me coming home.
Oh man.
He had gotten so sick. So now I guess I'm probably codependent with my cats too. Like, I miss them terribly. Stuff like that. So now whenever I think of traveling, I'm like, yeah, that would be fun if I didn't have 3 cats. And then I'm always looking for another cat. And I'm like, oh, this kitten is so cute. And then I'm like, well, if I'm lucky, there's 16 more years I can't go anywhere. So, like, because it's hard to travel with cats. And I've tried. I've taken them on trips to Minneapolis to visit my brother. But they just, it's very difficult. It'd be easier with dogs. So I would love to travel, and I'm like, oh, Fiji, Bali, like, I could go to all these places, and I could go to Europe, and I'm like, no, I can't. Because with my job, I can book off different amount, like, whatever time I want, and do my schedule however I want. So I could really spend a lot of money traveling, but nope. Got needy cats.
Yeah, it's especially difficult when you have kids, like, not just cats, but like I had cats, dog, and little babies, and like
so many layers of, like,
my ex would be like, we're going here, and I'm like, what? Like, all this stuff we gotta like pack up and go to wherever, like,
I can't even imagine trying to travel with children. Though it's probably easier than traveling with pets or having pets. Like, it just sounds, that was more exhausting. And tantrums and like, no. No.
Yeah, I'm glad that I got a lot of traveling out of the way, like when I was in the military and stuff. But like, even when I worked for a company
and Rachel's sitting here like, I'd love to travel.
I've never traveled in my life. I traveled to Texas.
Well, you went from California to Missouri. That's
a downgrade. That's not traveling. That's like, I can't afford to live in this awesome state, so I gotta go move to some crappy place in the middle of this stupid country.
I can hear that. Yeah. Trust me, I fucking understand. I spent years trying to make like Los Angeles happen. And it wasn't, and I was denying that it wasn't going to happen. And then COVID hit, and it was like, okay, world, I get it. I'm not supposed to be in California. I will go back to the fucking Midwest, to the small town. Like, fucking can't stand.
Yeah, I lived on the East Coast and had the same issues. Like, it's so freaking expensive out there. Like, it's just like,
honestly, it's expensive everywhere. I don't, like, every day. I just marvel at how anybody pays for fucking
How do
anything.
we live?
Yeah,
Capitalism is stupid. Money is stupid. It's all made up. Like, why?
Yep.
Why?
And only like 0.01% of the fucking population has enough of it to just be like, money's great.
Those are the only people that like money.
I'm guessing even like
the people who never have to think about the fact that they need money. Ugh. To live. It's stupid.
And they're like making all the laws for us, the rest of us, who like, hey, it would be nice if you did something for us since we're
making your millions.
Yeah. Well, what I do love post-COVID is all the
people quitting their shitty ass jobs.
People quitting their jobs, all the strikes. And I know it's like not convenient for us consumers to be like going to a place that's understaffed and whatever, but it's hard to be upset because you were not paying that person enough to be here in the first place. Fucking whatever she's doing, that means he or she doesn't have to be here. Fucking great for them. Like, maybe fucking learn
to value employees monetarily because this made up stupid shit runs our lives. Ugh, makes me so mad.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah, I've been like,
yeah, me too.
I'm glad now that I have some friends that are like, think with a whole different mindset about the way that capitalism works and all this stuff. And they're like, you need to read this, you need to check this out, you need to change your mind the way that you think about how money works. And I'm like, really? Like, I thought I had a good idea, but apparently I don't because I'm broke as fuck. So I'm like, so that then they're like, check this out, you know. So I've read a few articles and stuff, and I'm like, you know, fuck it. Like, I'm gonna change how this, you know, how I think about this. And like, now that I'm very fortunate enough to have a lot of friends that have put me into this world of cryptocurrency, that it's, you know, I'm not going to say too much about it, but essentially it's a money printer. It's a Ponzi scheme at most, but like,
you mean at worst?
It's at worst, I guess. Yeah. I mean, at worst, it's a Ponzi scheme. But like, if you look at the reality of it, what is actually wrong with a Ponzi scheme? People are making millions and they don't get punished for it. Like, it's not, you know, it just because there's no laws written around what is going on, like, to the lawmakers, they're just like, oh, our best guess is maybe this should apply, but they don't really know. So like, we're going to research it and get back to you in about 20 years. So at that point in time, you know, depending on the way
people
I play
are
my
making
cards,
a shit ton of money. Yeah.
Like, I could be a millionaire in the next 5 to 10 years and like just played my cards right, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, it's, you know.
Rachel, are you raising your hand to speak?
I'm
Rachel?
raising my hand because I looked up Ponzi scheme on Wikipedia.
She froze again.
Tell
it's
you
99.
why Ponzi
she has to
schemes
move as little
bad,
as possible,
and my
and then
internet has
freeze.
frozen.
But while she's frozen,
Yay!
I can hear her yelling in the other room.
while she's frozen, I have a lot of conflicting feelings on cryptocurrency.
There we are.
I have quite a bit of fucking cryptocurrency, but B, there's a lot of shifty shit that gets paid for via cryptocurrency. It's a very dark money situation. Like,
oh yeah,
it's a great way for terrorists to fucking pay for shit, that kind of thing. I mean, cryptocurrency at this point is so low cost per unit that, like, I've invested, I don't know how much, I don't even want to think about it. I've invested more in the stock market, which was probably a huge mistake. It was a manic episode. Manic episode when you're like, oh, I just learned about the stock market and I'm going through a manic episode. I think I'm just going to throw $5,000 into the stock market. Yeah, Rachel's eyes are getting big.
$5,000.
Yeah. What? At least, like, into shit that I don't know. I don't look at it anymore because it became a mental health issue. It was part of a mental health issue, so I'm just going to let it sit there. I don't pay attention to it anymore. But cryptocurrency, I have a bunch of it, and yes, people are getting rich off it, and I love it. But people are also not getting rich off of it. Like, it's yeah. You're right. It's like a Ponzi scheme. It's like, it's all gambling. It's all like,
absolutely.
It's all gambling.
It's gambling, and it's taking like word of mouth, like, you know, you're basically listening to people, but you have to listen to the right people, and know from their experience at them losing out big time on different new types of tokens, because there's already like thousands of different types of cryptocurrency tokens out there that you can invest in, but there's very little and very few of those ones that actually pay out passive income depending on how many like nodes you buy in the blockchain. So like, you have to sit there and learn all of the dialogue, like all of the nomenclature and the terms, and like, I don't know like 90% of what like my friends are talking about but they're posting like graph charts and all this stuff of like what's going on in the world. And I'm like, I don't know what this means. And they're like, well, if you pay attention to this line goes to here and there. And then like whatever. And they're like, well, here's where you make the jump and you like, You don't stake
It's
now.
exhausting.
And it's like I was never into stocks before, but I had a 401k from the company I worked for. So when you have a 401k, you don't have to do the work. You don't have to know anything about what's going on. A portion of your paycheck comes out and goes into the stock market, which is your 401k, and it is designed so that portions of your money that go into your 401k get put into different stocks throughout the entire market.
Diversify.
And there can be like millions of them. And your company that you work for has a certain department that says, we are going to decide what is the best for your money that you've put in, and we will like diversify. Exactly. Like we will spread it out and make sure that you get the best for, the most bang for your buck, I guess, is what. I didn't care about it or learn about it at the time. And you don't really tend to care when you're in that situation because you're just working, 40 hours a week, and a portion of your paycheck comes out and goes to this security like nest egg savings plan. But when you lose all of that, when you've saved up over 80 grand and all of it goes away, like in a divorce, and you're like, what do I have now? You start to think differently, and you're like, what can I do now that I've lost everything and I'm starting over again?
Maybe my problem is I never had anything to begin with.
Yeah, I don't have a 401k.
I had one for a very short time.
But I know a lot of people who, back in, 2010 or whatever, when they're like the huge recession and whatever, and people lost shit tons of money. I know family members who had 401ks that just they were decimated.
Yeah.
The key is to not do anything with those, let them ride, because if you didn't try to like bail yourself out or you didn't need the money, then they're fucking great now. But it's such it's a crapshoot, okay? Especially like as time goes on, like it's all just set up like a fucking house of cards, right?
That's
like, look at the supply chain issues. All this stuff, there are companies who are making tons of money, but we can't get goods. Like, but because they can charge so much more, their bottom line looks better, their shareholders are happy, the shareholders are going to give them more money. But meanwhile, us at the bottom here, who are the consumers, who are making them their fucking money by buying products, can't get the products at a reasonable price and like scraping money together to buy the things we need.
And all the truck drivers are quitting too, so they're not transporting the stuff because they don't want to get vaxxed. They don't want to get the vaccine, so they're quitting driving trucks.
Is that being required for truck drivers now?
In some places, yeah. Like some of the companies. Well, I was just seeing that they were trying to hire like hundreds of different new truck driving employees that would be willing to get vaccinated. And they could pay them a lot less too. So the ones
that's not a sustainable plan these days. You can't pay people less.
People are learning their own value now.
I think what COVID did was force people to learn to live on less, and when they lived on less, they were happier because they weren't working as much, and they realized this is sustainable. Also, most of the jobs that are left vacant were filled by women, and women are at home taking care of children, and childcare is so fucking expensive in this country that it makes more sense for you to stay home and maybe lose $100 of income a month if you're not giving it to a daycare, and for someone to stay home and take care of that child. Like, it's all, I know the Republicans love to be like, it's all Biden's fault, but you know what? It's America's fault.
We've been heading here.
It's corporate America's fault. It's corporate America's fault. It's because COVID fucking threw wrenches in the system.
It exposed a bunch of problems.
Weaknesses. Yeah. For sure. But yeah, 401k, I don't know what that's like.
I don't either.
I don't know. That's one of the reasons in my, feverish, manic episode while I was leaving Los Angeles and like losing my mind at the beginning of this year, it became very apparent, like at my age, I'm like, I have no retirement savings. Like, what am I going to do? I'm like, the first thing was like, put money in the stock market, like roll the dice and see if there's going to be enough money there someday when I fucking retire.
Just go to Vegas, and just like go to the casino.
You know what? I've also thought of that because it's all just gambling. It's just like different types of gambling. I don't even look at it anymore because it's unhealthy to look at like your stocks every day, and especially now because everything's just messed up. But yeah, like that's my 401k. Whatever I put into the stock market, then I'm never looking at it again. Like not until like I'm 60, maybe I'll look at it and see what's happening. If there's even a stock market, because look at the fucking world. Who knows?
Well, I used to never look at mine. Like for 20 years, I didn't look at what I was saving. Because like,
and you probably felt better.
and I was just like, you feel secure because you're like, I know a certain portion of my pay is coming out and going into whatever kind of savings thing that I've got going on. And, I'm like, yeah, I'll be taken care of, like, unlike my parents who didn't have any of that stuff. I'm like, my big thing was when I was growing up, I'm like, I don't want to be like my parents and not have a retirement, like not have this nest egg. So I did whatever I could to, in my mind, become like, successful and, like worked my ass off and like worked for these companies and in the military and then like saved up. And then, like, it's not very difficult for that wrench to get thrown into the gears. And pretty soon you're just standing there going, why did I do all this?
Yeah.
Like,
that idea
I could
of success is very fragile.
Like, I could have been doing a million different things during that 20 plus years of working for companies and stuff that didn't give a fuck about who I was or my personal beliefs or anything. Like, like I was like military the whole time. And like for part of that, I was military part-time and worked for a big contractor for military or for government contracts. But like the whole time I was doing that, I thought that I was getting ahead because I was making a good salary and I was making good savings. I was getting free education, So I thought like all these benefits are like so cool. Like, look at me go, I'm like doing all this cool stuff and look at me, I'm so successful. But like when it gets turned and you're like, you lose everything that you've ever worked hard for, it makes you realize at that point that you're like, okay, so I was living a lie. I was a dumbass.
Working hard for the wrong things.
I need to think differently from now on. Like, I need to approach things a little differently and not be so proud of what I've done and like who I thought I was, but like, who am I now and where do I go from here? So that's the lesson I got out of all that crap. We're getting towards the end here of time. Let's see where we're at.
I feel like we could do this once a month and never cover mental health like sufficiently enough or any number of topics. I was like, I'm ready to talk about nutrition. I'm ready to talk about cooking. I'm ready to talk about cats. I'm ready to talk about politics. I was like, all this stuff. And it's like, we didn't even talk about any of it, really. Like, we touched on politics and some things, but...
I mean, we could always record more often, like...
I'm down.
I know
I'm
some
totally
people that, like one of the people that I talked to about recording podcasts who's given me a lot of good advice, they record twice a week. And they have like 2 episodes a week coming out. I can't afford that.
That's a lot of editing too.
Yeah, the editing part is still what I'm trying to get down pat. But like once I get that figured out, and once I can afford to buy more time with this program I'm using, then I could definitely start recording a lot more. If and then we can like structure it. I could structure it more to where there's like, this episode has this person. It's going to be about this. And then I can like do some research and say like, I have these questions about this thing or like whatever. And then whatever that person is, whoever I'm talking to, whatever their specialty is, like they could have the answers that I'm looking for, which would provide good content to the listeners that are like, I want to learn about this subject. And then they tune into that episode and they hear me asking the question because I'm a dumbass and I don't know anything. And then the person I have on there is like, oh, well, this is the answer to that question. And I'm like, wow, you blow my mind.
Well, then we need to find you sponsors so you can afford more of the airtime stuff, whatever. I don't know anything about podcasting. How long does it take for you to edit like an episode?
It's pretty ridiculous.
No, trust me, it's not. Because do you know how long it takes to fucking edit a YouTube episode? For a 20-minute YouTube episode, you're talking like it takes me upward of 10 hours of work.
Yeah.
And that doesn't include the time it takes to shoot. And it depends on the content. Like if it's in the kitchen, it's a little easier. That trailer stuff that I did fucking took forever. And I've got a better program now. But like, trust me, when you're starting off, it's going to take you a long time, but it's always going to be like,
yeah, video editing.
At some point you're doing it and you're like, why the fuck am I doing this? Like you probably identify with that feeling. Like
I know, fuck. Like I've done some video editing and it's just like so intense. Like you get so wrapped up into like all the little nuances of like transitions and
because you have to, you know how hard it is to get people to watch content. You have to make it constantly fucking exciting. Like at least with a podcast, you get in your car, you can listen to a podcast. What else are you going to do besides look at the road?
Right.
Well, you get somebody on a sofa watching a YouTube episode. There's 100 different distractions in that room. You have to keep making it. Right. And I know just from my own experience watching YouTube channels, you have to make like good transitions. You have to make sure, it's so much work. I love it. Yeah. It's like, what else am I going to do with my time?
Well, then you like
really,
if anybody has watched anything on YouTube, you like look at a video, and if it's a video that you like and you like how they filmed it and formatted it and everything, you tend to go back to that YouTuber. And like if you stumble upon other ones and you're like, oh, I don't like this as much, it's like it's very selective. It's very the way that the people out there pick what they want to watch. Like you got to really, and it makes you feel like, am I doing this right? Like, am I, you're like, why am I doing this? Because like, if it's not as good as the same thing with me doing this podcast, like it's, I hear so many other really good podcasts and I'm like, man, I want mine to sound good. Like I want it to, and I listen to different music. And I listen to the way that the music sounds and the way that it's recorded, and I'm like, I can pick out little things in music and the way that it's been recorded that like I can tell how they kind of did it, like, and what they cut out and stuff, and how they layered it and all this. And I'm like, so when I do the editing for a podcast, I end up listening to the same segment like 100 times because I'm like, I'm like cutting out background noise and all kinds of stuff. And it just,
and then you're listening to so much, you're like, fuck, I just want to burn it all. Like, I've listened to this so many times. I'm so fucking tired of hearing my own voice. I'm so tired of the video, looking at this thing. Yeah. Like with your last guest, and he was talking about, you were talking about podcasts and people were like, oh, I could do a podcast. And he was like, yeah, try it. Right. Like, yeah sure. Try it. I will fucking challenge anybody to try to make a podcast, a couple episodes, try to make a YouTube episode. Like you said, with people going on, like making their TikToks and like how many hours they put into a TikTok. It's the same thing. Like what looks super like, that video I just watched, like how long could that have taken them? A long fucking time, especially if like I edit my own, because I don't think hiring an editor, because I'm not monetized or anything yet, doesn't make sense. Because why am I going to put money into something that I'm already putting my own money into the equipment and things like that. But yeah, it just try it. Just try to make content.
That's why.
I dare you. I
dare you.
That's why I prefer to be a guest.
Try to do it.
I don't want to do my own. I'd rather just be on other people's shows.
The thing about is, one of the other reasons I want to do my own editing is because I don't think anybody else could capture me the way
you want to be,
that I want to be captured, or accurately. Also, with as much content as I actually shoot in order to pare it down, I'm like, nobody wants to fucking sort through all this garbage to find something good. Like, all these different, like, me being ridiculous, all these different shots where I have to repeat over and over, because I'm not good at it. Like, I'm not a natural anything when it comes to video. I never did anything on video until the winter of 2019, when I was trying to apply for jobs in LA, when I wanted to get there and get a different job than what I was doing. And they all wanted like video interviews. And I'm like, I've never even been on a camera. Like, so I was like, I guess I'm going to have to practice talking to nobody and then having other people look at it. So I just started making videos for like Instagram and stuff. And then I was like, maybe I'll try YouTube. But I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I can't read off a script and remember. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I can read one sentence, say the sentence, look down, say the next sentence, and I wrote it. I wrote the fucking script. So yeah, it's so much work if you're not like a natural actor who knows how to like learn a script, memorize a script, that kind of thing. And then to edit that, like, am I going to put somebody else through that fucking horror, like, of having to see me? First of all, my cats jump into shots all the time.
I love cats.
And then the video camera's running. And I'm trying to incorporate them into as many, especially if you watch towards the end, after the end credit stuff on my videos, I'm trying to put like videos of cats in the end there when I'm like, when Baxter gets up on the counters, or when I'm giving them treats. The last one at the end, him and Corey are getting treats for being good boys, for not bothering me while I was shooting content and stuff like that. But like, why? Yeah. So it's great. It's kind of satisfying. It's interesting because it's all a learning experience, and I love learning. But I would challenge anybody to try to, like, I don't even know like how these YouTube people get so popular, and like how that even happens. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm not necessarily making content to be popular. It's like, I've got a lot of time on my hands, and I'm not going to sit and watch TV. Like, that's not who I am. I have to be active. I have to be doing and creative somehow.
That's why I'm starting this podcast, because like for like several years, all I did was lay on the couch and stare at the ceiling and like watch the Weather Channel, like day in, day out. Like when your brain chemistry is not where it should be to be able to socialize and perform as a human, like in society.
Yeah.
Like,
And for my brain, if I'm not constantly achieving something, even if it's not a great achievement, if I'm not constantly like doing something, being creative, like it impacts my mental health. And then I just get depressed, and then I feel like garbage if I'm not doing something. I don't know. It's probably my upbringing. It's probably capitalism. People love to say like, you feel that way because that's how this country teaches you. If you're not being productive all the time, somehow, then you are being lazy, and you are, not being a good American.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's probably a bunch of internalized shit.
I was like done with everything. So I like just didn't do anything. And I was content, I guess, in a way that I was like, I'm not doing anything. Like, I just don't want to move. And, you go into this like mindset of like, you're inside your brain, and you're like recoiling in terror of everything bad that has ever happened to you, and like you don't want to move your body very much. Like you're like, and it's years of alcoholism and drug abuse and and things like that. You end up getting stuck in a pattern. But like, yeah, we could talk about that stuff. Like, we could go into that, but like, we're getting close here to the end. I want to make sure that people can find your content on YouTube, since we were talking about that, like all the work you've put into it. I notice when I watch your videos that you've put a lot of effort into making it come out, you know, as perfect as it can. And I see, and I know the struggle that it's difficult to edit these things. Like when you have hours worth of footage and you're like, what do I do with this stuff? Like, and you're like meticulously pushing, you're dealing with like different plugins and all this stuff, and you're trying to make it lay out perfect, and you have the audio track and the video, and you're trying to make a transition. It's very difficult. So I want you to tell everyone who's listening where they can find your content on YouTube.
Well, www.youtube.com, whatever they call that, / these days, whatever, and then with Frankie. So it's easy because with Frankie.
With Frankie.
It took me 100 subscribers. Once you get 100 subscribers, you get your own designated YouTube address. So I got that far. That was an achievement. But if you forget that, I'm always on Twitter at Just Call Me Frank, and I'm on Instagram at _real_call_me_. Somebody took my fucking @ before I could get to it on Instagram because I took too long to get onto Instagram. But if you go on any of those places, like I've got a website, www.justcallmefrank.net. I've got www.cookingwithfrankie.com. I've got I'm on Facebook. I'm in an obscene amount of places all over. But if you come to me at justcallmefrank or at justcallmefrank on Twitter, I can give you a link. There's probably a link in my bio that gives you like a link tree, or, you know, allmylinks.com or some bullshit like that.
Oh wow,
that
your withfrankie.net has art and painting and photography.
Yeah,
yes,
so
she's a
writing,
painter.
all my writing, my poetry, academic writing. I'm fashion. I fancy myself as an occasional painter. I'm working on that Lady Cave project, which if you watch my YouTube channel, you hear me talk about. You'll see me doing some stuff in there. I'm going to be getting electricity in there soon, and then it's going to be a painting studio and a sewing studio. So there'll be other content that comes out of there.
How have I not seen this art? Like,
you haven't seen Frankie's art? I love her shit.
I don't
love it.
I'm looking at it now. It's so like, it's very surreal.
Right?
Weird.
It's amazing. I want some.
It's very weird. It's very random stuff. And I can't wait to start painting again because I took a hiatus because my Lady Cave, doesn't have heat. So that cuts out a huge portion of the year that I can even be out there. And then it doesn't have any electric. So in the summer, I was running extension cords from the house to like terrible lighting out there. And then I spent, a few years trying to move to Los Angeles. And that took up, half of every month of my life for years. And so now that I'm staying in the Midwest and I've resigned myself to that sad fact, I'm investing in upgrading a lot of stuff. If this comes out, I don't know, before or after, I just finished a kitchen renovation, which I think you guys are going to fucking love. I'm going to do a video of it soon. It's got like a whole new paint job, whole new backsplash tiles, new cupboard doors.
Wow.
It's looking, I walk in there and I'm all like, this is it. This is nice. This is because I wasn't going to invest in it if I wasn't going to stay here. Right. And remember that if you watch my YouTube videos, that two-tone weird fucking green shit I had and like half colored, like some of the covers were painted and some of the bottom covers weren't. It was all trash. But yeah, I've got like poetry and academic writing, which I'm more proud of, I think, than my poetry at this point. If you read some of my academic papers, and I've got paintings on there and photography on there. It's like a hub. The justcallmefrank.net website is a hub to all my stuff. So,
well, cool.
Like I said, I got to stay busy to stay mentally healthy, or I'm just going to lay on the sofa and languish in misery.
Yeah, we gotta do what we gotta do to stay with it, to keep pushing forward.
Yeah. And next time I'm on, we can talk about how I went on Lexapro and now I'm off Lexapro, because that is garbage.
Yeah, I need to talk to you about that.
Yeah.
We can have a discussion on the side.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, I guess
Rachel's looking around.
This is a very classic Minnesota goodbye. If you don't know about a Minnesota goodbye,
I know Midwestern
look
goodbyes.
into a book called How to Talk Minnesotan. They'll tell you all about a Midwestern goodbye, how it just will last forever unless I say, I love you both and thank you for letting me be a guest, and I cannot wait until we can do this again.
Cool. Thank you. Rachel, where can we find you?
You
haven't said much at all. I've
been trying to talk, but my internet keeps freezing. I was trying to tell you or ask you about how your eCoin was a Ponzi scheme. I had the Wikipedia up and everything, and then y'all went on just without me.
Yeah. Well, cryptocurrency in itself, it's basically a Ponzi scheme to everyone.
But a Ponzi scheme is something that's supposed to hurt people. It's by a con man. So why are you
in the old terms? In the old terms, yeah. It's just the theory of it, But
anyways, you can find me at Twitter. I'm at Get Off My Planet. I'm on Instagram, but that's private. Don't try to follow me. I deny everything and block you. I'm on Facebook. Don't try to find me. I'm on TikTok, I have a TikTok that I haven't been on in months, because now I have a job where I have to concentrate all day and I can't just sit and watch videos. So find me on Twitter at Get Off My Planet.
And check out her TikTok though. Her TikToks are actually really good. She spent a lot of time learning how to do those, and
I totally winged it. Everything was winged. Although I did figure shit out.
You were natural.
It was pretty fun. And then I got over it.
So it's you get the aspect of what me and Frankie were talking about with the video editing and editing a podcast and all this stuff. It's TikTok's there's a certain level of difficulty to it that in order to make it good, you have to spend a lot of time learning the tools,
watching the same thing
to make it look
over
good.
And over and over and over again.
Yeah,
and
absolutely. It's difficult, and people that think that this stuff is easy,
I'm not good at it. No,
they just need to try
that I cannot I've got a couple TikToks on there. Don't go to my TikTok. It's horrible. Go to her TikTok because hers is fucking awesome.
I've made a couple, but man, they're it took me way too long to make the short amount of stuff I wanted to do. And I was okay.
It took me a long time, and that made me determined to make more and do it more and get better. But
you got popular really fast. People love your TikTok. You did a good job. You knew how to work those hashtags.
You just throw whatever hashtag on there. It's just whatever.
My hashtags were always bad at TikTok. I don't
Don't try to describe your video with those hashtags. Describe yourself. Buy wife energy. But yeah, okay, fine.
Now I'm gonna have to make this episode into 2 separate episodes because we've gone so long.
Yeah, this one is as long as it's twice as long as the first half.
Yeah. So
anyways, hi. Bye.
Okay, so my shout outs go out to Mario at the Artisan Rogue, at Crucial Chase, who was just on the last 2 episodes that I just got done editing. And I'm going to release them pretty soon. I just released the first part, and the second part is going to come out in a few days. Got to give it time. I want to shout out Rian from the Reincarnation podcast. If anyone wants to learn about psychedelic substances or meditation or any of that stuff, definitely go check out his podcast. It's very interesting. He goes really deep into a lot of cool stuff that I didn't know about. I didn't know about very much of this stuff very long ago, and it's just cool stuff. All the listeners out there, thanks for giving me your time and checking us out. check out the website and the Twitter and Instagram and all that. It's Wormhole Manifest. And yeah, I think I'm just going to leave it at that. They can check out the website. I have like a commercial out there I might put in here and has all that information in there. So thank you guys. Thanks, Rachel, for sitting there and staring at me. And thanks, Frankie, for giving us your time and sharing stuff with us.
Thank you, Frankie.
I want to definitely have you guys back soon. We could make it a regular thing. I could make like a good rotation. I could do a good rotation of guests, and we can just have different topics and stuff and tackle things from, different perspectives. So
I've definitely got some mental health stuff to talk about. So
yeah, mental health.
I got undiagnosed.
Anybody
mental
has
health
any
stuff
issues?
to talk about. Doctors cost money. Diagnoses cost money.
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever I think about mental health, I think about Lucy that used to set up her little stand, and Charlie Brown would like go up there, and it's like
5 cents.
The psychiatrist is in.
The psychiatrist is in 5 cents.
Yeah. He would sit down. Man, he was so depressed. It was like crazy. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks, guys. We will see you next time.
Goodbye.
Bye.